versus Wade and abortion in America. So, most of us know about the controversial topic of abortion in the United States. We know that it's legal in all 50 states and that the Republicans hate it while the Democrats love it. But do we know who fought for the rights of unborn fetuses and who fought for women's rights? Well, it's all explained in the court case Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade was a game changer for women's rights. It overruled a lot of state laws that prohibited women from getting an abortion unless the baby threatened the woman's life, the mother's life, or the baby was conceived out of incest or rape. And when the court case passed, it opened a lot of doors for women. So before Roe v. Wade, women only had 3 options if they were to get pregnant. 1, they could keep the baby, which was usually out of the equation because babies required a lot of time and a lot of money to take care of. Or 2, they can get it done illegally, but it was usually super unsafe because it was done in other people's homes. Or 3, they can bribe physicians and psychiatrists to give them a therapeutical abortion. So first we go to Jane Arcana, who was a college student back in the day, and she explains how when she found out that she was pregnant in college, she had to get into contact with one of her old high school friends. He was currently an untrained and unprofessional med school student, but she still had to get into contact with him to give her this illegal abortion because she had no other choices. And he gave her this abortion in his home, and even though she was one of the lucky ones and she didn't pass away or die, a lot of women weren't as lucky as she was. And another extreme length that women were willing to go to get an abortion was to pay 2 psychiatrists $50 each, so $100 in total. And then when the psychiatrists signed the piece of paper saying that the woman was suicidal and she was depressed because she was pregnant, she would then have to take that piece of paper and go to a gynecologist to get a therapeutical abortion. Both these ways were super long and super just inconvenient for the woman. So the court case itself was actually very long and dragged out. It started in December of 1970 and ended in January of 1973. And it started when Jane Roe, whose actual name was Norma McCorvey, started a lawsuit against Henry Wade, who was the district attorney of the Dallas area. And since Miss McCorvey lived in that area, she sued him. And this court case between these 2 individuals soon transformed from a court case between 2 people to a heated discussion between the entire nation, which in the long run divided the nation as a whole.
A quote from OYEZ.com reads, "First, the court considered whether the case was moot, concluding that it was not. When the subject of litigation is capable of repetition yet evading review, a case need not be dismissed as moot. Pregnancy is a classic justification for a conclusion of non-mootness." Now, moot means for something to be debatable, and what this quote is trying to say is that every situation is different, meaning that Roe's argument could be considered non-debatable. The judges on this case had already made their minds, and Roe's team started with a disadvantage on the case. This is because Norma McCorvey, named Roe for her protection during the case, was not pregnant at the time, so her arguments could be determined as not valid from the court. After the court case, safe and legal abortions spread across the country, and people who needed support could now receive support through medical professionals. Abortions now have a safety record of over 99%, according to PlannedParenthood.com, and is one of the safest medical procedures to date. After the court case of Roe versus Wade, abortion became very safe and professional, saving the lives of so many mothers who could very well be seriously injured or killed by unprofessional abortions. The criminalization of Roe versus Wade would result in about 440,000 additional births per year, which is much more than what the United States can healthily maintain and many families in America. If abortions were made illegal again, then an unsustainable amount of births would occur, leaving many more families in poverty, leading to even more illegal seeking of unprofessional abortions, which would finally lead to more fatalities from legal abortions. Women have been denied of their rights in the past, but with legal abortions being passed, they can express their constitutional rights and provide what is best for their family and themselves. Before Roe versus Wade, women seeked illegal means for abortions, which were dangerous and unreliable. After the tough court case known as Roe versus Wade, that would last for more than 2 years of fighting in the courtroom, it was finally passed and women could express their rights. Abortion has been a hot topic even today, as many southern and midwestern states have passed anti-abortion laws back in 2019, just a year ago. Even though here in California, abortions are completely legal and safe, that doesn't mean that your next door state doesn't have the same opportunities.